Welcome back, friends. Lost Sky fan. It's time for more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Here we are with Dr. Hairbrain again. So it's been a little bit since the last episode. I keep saying that, like, things keep happening, and so I keep not being able to record these. So if any of these voices are off, it is what it is. 23rd of October, local prison cell 11. What's he doing? Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations. And he's still writing more now! Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo! And who is this young lady? My name is Sasato Mikatoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. Really? No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you. Don't think it upsets him. I owe an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Hairbrain? What have you been working on in your cell? Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had at hand. At hand? To hand? Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? Ah, no, actually, this is my autobiography. What? Your autobiography? How I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. Diddled and fiddled, you say? I want to know what that used to mean, because I know what it means now. Well, let's keep going. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers and an ambitious set of simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1, in odd birth, in odd upbringing. You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled, by the pair of them. By Asmund, and by that aloof Engineer Trevor. We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Oh yeah, Jinx explained. Odie Asmund is Ideas Man. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Alright, let us converse. I don't want to look at any of his crap. This morning's trial. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asmund. The kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. So you're saying ignorance of the law is not okay? Here's the problem, is like, you could do something wrong, but not necessarily means it's actually wrong. It's just, they think it's wrong. Oh. No, different debate. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know? Barak did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think, that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barak wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Von Zieg's motivation. After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barak, I'm sure that prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Barak insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? Mr. Asman. No, I need Jinx to tell me what Enoch Trevor means if it's a joke name too, because I have no idea what Enoch Trevor would be. Enoch Trevor? I have no idea. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so empathetic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic, it probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it! It wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. That's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Asman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Trevor. Trevor, the engineer. Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asman first brought Trevor to meet me at my laboratory. Since then I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. I think he has a wealth. Sounds better than he was. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Trevor's enormous fabrication laboratory, where he constructed my great machine. Huh? Why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Drebber's workshop. So you've been to Drebber's place of work, then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct a kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that, honestly. You see? I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead. What do you think, Mr. Sato? I'll do machine for your next birthday? I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor. You don't have a business card for Mr. Drebber, for example? The man was clearly very cautious, Mr. Sato. I'm sure he was never... let's see if I got that right. No, I'm sure he would never. Aha! Yes, I do. He gave me this business card once. It's right here, look. What? Let me see that. Throw it through the window, why don't you? They didn't take that off him, by the way. Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address. No. Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Drebber's card has been added to the court record. Just his name, nothing else. Okay. I don't think there's anything to present him, is there? Okay, let's take a look at this card here. Alright, anything there, other side. Smudges! This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported very high-quality oil. That's impossible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right. But more importantly, that is more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment. She's smelling it, isn't she? Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry. I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on there. That has oil on it. Alright. You know the perfect person to show this to? Well, first let me take a look at something here. Whoop. Ah, look here, Mr. Sato. Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height? Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall from about 30 feet, or 9 meters. Leaving the man inside tragically dead. This detail, oh, that's gonna be important later. Maybe. Alright, back up. See something. Have we seen everything with us? Yeah, okay, we have. So I'm wondering if Sasato has anything new to say about any of this stuff. Let's see here. Crossbow? Does Sasato have an opinion on the crossbow? Oh, there's some sort of lever here. Boop! What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a bow gun. A bow and a gun. Huh. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. This groove here. Must be where the arrows are loaded, I suppose. So I was right. It's a sort of bow with an automatic firing mechanism. This would be perfect for someone like me who catches his ear with the bowstring 2 times out of 3. In fact, if I had one of these, maybe I could have beaten Kazuma in Kyoto archery training. A different kind of bow, though. Yeah, I noticed Sasato had nothing to say there, because you get this before you get Sasato. Looks like you wind this around in order to draw the bowstring back and create tension. You must be able to fire arrows with a huge amount of force using this device, then. In fact, I would imagine it's far more accurate and powerful than a Japanese longbow. I really had no idea that what I was picking up when I spotted this at the exhibition grounds. And the screwdriver is, of course, just talking about it. Have I shown him his screwdriver? Let's see. Or the victim? Or, okay, let's show him the victim. How could this have happened? You must feel awful. As well as a man losing his life, the Crystal Tower was greatly damaged too. I knew what happened! It must have been that! That? The day before the demonstration, I had my usual meal of frankfurters at the hotel restaurant. When I paid the bill, they gave me 3 shillings too much in change. But instead of saying anything, I just slipped the coins into my pocket. They're still there now. It's divine retribution for my wrongdoing. That's what this is. For a scientist, he has some very illogical anecdotes. Long and illogical. Screwdriver. Professor, do you recognize this? Oh, it's Andrew, my faithful friend. How have you been? Are you alright? Nobody's mistreated you, have they? Don't worry, he's being very well looked after. I always rub him with machine oil until he's gleaming. Right. And then when I come to tighten a screw with him, he slips in my hand and I can't do it. It's that age-old problem faced by driver files the world over, isn't it? I really wouldn't know, I'm afraid. Showing the birdcage. Professor Harebrained, what do you think of this? Oh yes, this is what we need to prove my hypothesis, isn't it? No, it's nothing to do with your hypothesis, actually. Then take it away. I don't want to be bothered with anything that doesn't assist my science. Alright, keep your abundant hair on. Grabber. Alright, no opinion there? Okay. Does he have anything else to say about the card? Especially after what we learned about it? Alright, okay. Alright, backing up. I have a guess where to go with this card, so let's back out. Let's move. Let's go to... where is it? The stage. And the reason for it is this. It smells, right? Present. About this, Gina. Yeah, I'm still learning my letters at the moment. I only know A and E, so if it ain't too much bleeding trouble... Actually, Gina, it's the back of the card that's important. Eh? How come? It's just a dirty old smudge on the back, that's all. It turns out that this is a very high-quality French machine oil. It has a very particular scent, apparently. You don't say. Let's have a whiff, then. You sure? I don't smell nothing. No, we didn't mean that you should smell it. Oh, right. You mean Toby. Makes perfect sense. Freaking dog. Woof! His sense of smell is so good he can track people all over the oceans, can't he? Professor Harebrained informs us that this oil is unique to Mr. Trevor's workshop. Look at the tails just in her face. Sniff, 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 sniff. I think he's picked up a scent. So you mean if he follows the scent of this oil, Toby could lead us to that dodgy Cole's workshop. That's right. That's exactly what we were hoping. Alright then. We'll give it a go. I'll just bow to that. What? Wait. When did you... Once a pickpocket. I can lead everyone to that Rebel's workshop. I'll be the boss's boss before next week. Oh yes, Gina. I'm sure you'll get promoted. Poor Gregson. Right then, Odo. Leave it to me. Sorry. We're gonna get going after that dodgy engineer cove right in this minute. Oh, but hang on. Someone's supposed to be on guard duty here all the time. I'm afraid we can't help. We need to get on with our investigation as well, Gina. Alright. Oh well, never mind. It ain't gonna be me what gets it in the neck. It'll be the boss. Poor Gregson again. Ready, Toby? Got that oil scent, have you? Come on then, boy. See you later. I do hope the scent of that oil leads them to that swindler's workshop. Yes, I hope so too. Ideally before the dog swims across the channel to France. Well, I think we've done all of the investigating we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Trapper. I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We ought to find him at Madame Dispel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Yes, Iris told me all about his latest unusual venture. I love when freaking Iris kicked him. He's like, whoop, and then just like, oh. Alright. Madame Dispel's, here we go. October 23rd, Madame Dispel's Museum of Waxworks. Guess who doesn't remember this lady's voice when she comes up? Okay, she's probably gonna show up again. Here we are again at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't got used to the place yet. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery, of course. Sasato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? Eek! What's the matter? Look, Miss Naruto, look at that waxwork. I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. There he is. It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes down to the very last detail. Aha! What is it? Oh, sorry, I think you'll find that's the temporary waxwork himself. Guess you forgot her voice! Ah, the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh yes, hello again. It's Ryunosuke Naruto. I must say, I am quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Allos. Do not disturb, huh? Do not disturb, Okay, Oh yeah, that's weird. Poor Sasato-san. She looks very perplexed. Alright, so now we examine him. Did that wrong. Move over there. There we go. Examine him. We really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I am longing to say hello again. But where is he? I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh? What do you... Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I! The world-famous great detective in waxwork, Sherlock Holmes. Oh, she fainted! Susato-san! Susato-san! Way to go, Sholmesy. Way to freaking go. My most humble apologies. I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment. Via London. My dear madam, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. As long as it's not of a questionable street food for quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Merely a secret identity, you understand? But the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume? Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise. Or any food so far today, for that matter. Rumble, rumble, rumble. That stomach rumble echoed around the whole museum. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Ah, well, do you remember I said it was largely solved? Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event. Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary? The fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame to spell is at all cost. Hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street after all. Poor Iris. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Alright. Cutting this one a little short. I got things I gotta take care of, but that is where we're gonna stop for this one for now. I have fun, hope you're fun watching. That's what's all about, having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.